Hello, students. So for today, we're going to talk about intent. Generally, intent is the way when you want to achieve something, you just need to tell Android Studio what you want to achieve. And that means you provide your intention. Tell the Android Studio what you want to achieve only, but not demanding in which method they are gonna achieve that. So that's the way we call intent. That's saying out loud your intention, and Android Studio will try its best to help you achieve. So generally for intent we use a lot when it comes to shifting from activity 1 to another activity. So generally, we use intent to achieve that. So that means we are going to create a new project to do the intent theme as the main topic of today's project. So again, we are picking empty views activity here. And for you, I think it should be example 6 right here. And then just let it run a little bit. So for intent, that we move from one activity to another. Generally, in the previous examples, we only have one. We only have single one activity. That's our main activity. So for here today, we're going to create another activity and trying to move from the first, which is the main activity, to the other activity. So what we're going to do is first to create another activity. We only have one here. It's called main activity, and link the layout by this main activity main XML file. So that means although we got two files, but that means we only have one activity. So how are we going to create another main activity? You can go through here by the left column. That's our folder structures. In here we got our app, and where we store our main activity is in here, Kotlin plus Java, and the very first folder, that's our main activity. So here you click on you do a right click. Okay, I have to change it back to this window to show you what are we gonna do. So again, here's our main activity. We do right click, and then there would be a list of what are you gonna do. We are gonna do it at the new here. We're creating another activity. So here you can actually generate another different file, like any type here. We are generating another activity, and again, it's an empty views activity. So going through here, from the very beginning, you click on the right folder here. You click do the right click on your mouse, and then stop at the new, and then the activity, again, the empty views activity. So it will jump out this window to ask what's the parameter of this Android activity. So I'll keep it as default. It will be named as main activity 2. So it's quite straightforward. We're moving from the first activity to the second one. And please make sure you do have this generate a layout file checked. It will, as a default, it's checked. That means it will generate the layout corresponding to our main activity 2. So generally use all the default setting, changing nothing, and then do the finish. And let it run a bit. It will help us to create another activity right here. So that's main activity 2, and this is the coding of main activity 2, and here's the layout of it. So the easiest way to make sure you did succeeded in creating main activity 2 is that we always have this hello world at our main activity layout, but it will be total an empty here in main activity 2. Okay, so this is what we have. We can like get it to a side to make our frame a bit larger here. So for the hello world, I think we should possibly change it into the to show us that it is the first activity. So I'm gonna type it here. Let's call it first activity. So you will know this one is the first. I'll change the size of it to see more clearly. Right there. So what we're gonna do is to first get a button. Get a button. You drag it in the middle and release it. So this button will bring us from the first activity to the second one. So let's call it BTN. Possibly just BTN. Alright, so that's button BTN here. So we got a button. You can change the tags here, writing go to 2. That's straightforward. I'll change the size of the tags a little bit right here. Alright, so that's actually what we need for now in our layout. And for our main activity 2, I think it would be better that we drag a text view and showing that this is activity 2. Let's see. So we have this one, first activity, and then we can copy it, make it the second one so that we know where we are right now. Second activity. Like that. Also change the font size. So that's it. So what I want to achieve is that in here, we click go to 2. It will bring us to here, the second activity. But I also want to bring us back to the first activity. So I am going to drag another button right here. Let's call it button 2 because it's at my activity 2. And then that means go back. That's right, go back. So we have 2 buttons at each of our activities right here. Alright, so these are for the second activity. We are not gonna do the coding at the main activity 2 just yet. So what we want to achieve now is when we click on this go to 2 button, it will bring us to main activity 2. So what we're gonna do is to have our codes here. Please make sure you are typing at the right activity. Now we are at main activity, which is our very first activity. So I want to directly set on a click listener of our go to 2 button right here. So again, in the onCreate, this feature should be available or like functioning whenever we start our app. So it should be ready to be clicked. So right here, we are gonna add the onClick listener in onCreate within these 2 large braces. So we are gonna do the file view by ID with the most simple way to do it. So file view by ID. And what are we looking for? We're looking for a button. Please make sure you pick this one, so it will help you import button right there. If you click like that, so it will help you to import button automatically. You don't need to import yourself. So the ID is, according to our memory, that's our button. And then we're gonna set on click listener right here. Alright, so what we're gonna do is using intent, which means providing the intention. Oh, what's our intention now is to please bring us to the second activity. So we have a value called intent. You can name it whatever you like. I'm just naming it as intent right now. You can possibly call it go to 2 or anything. And this intent is an intent. It's an intent, all right, like that. And then we're gonna provide these parameters for it. So this intent is belonging here, this list right there. And then the second parameter is where you want to go. So we want to go to main activity 2 right here, main activity 2. And again, you can see this package context automatically showed up. This is the memo from Android Studio. Do not type it yourself. Do not type it yourself. Okay, so again, I should demo again like that. So it will disappear. I am doing my main thing here, not typing that. You see, it's the memo from Android Studio. Do not type it yourself. All right, the following syntax is 2 column and then class.java. And we're actually good. That is really, really simple for intent. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start activity. How are we gonna start? Through this intent we just created. So it's like we are defining what our intention is. I want to go to main activity 2 by starting the activity and adding the intent right here. So my intention is start activity, which one? Main activity 2 right there. All right, so let's see what would happen when we create it like this. Just wait a little bit. So the build is done like here. So we are at our first activity right here. According to our codes, we should be able to go to main activity 2 by clicking the button. So we are now at our second activity, and I haven't added anything here. You can possibly go back by using the back button in your physical phone or your virtual phone here. So it will actually bring you back. So, but what I want to do is to do the go back function in our coding right here. So let's start it to do the go back thing. So the so-called go back. So we have main activity 1 going to main activity 2. That means we are starting activity 2 right here. So by saying go back means you want main activity 2 to stop or like to be closed. Almost like when you start your web, you do on your Google Chrome, you close it and then you bring back to your desktop. A bit like that. So in here, so-called go back, what we're gonna do is actually using finish. That's what we are going to do. So again, we need to find our button first. We got a button right here, right? So it's called button 2. And then we're gonna do the same idea. So we find view by ID. Which type of view are you finding? It's a button like that. And the ID is button 2. Button 2. So also set on the right there. So on click listener, whenever this button 2 is on clicked, we are going to do is like go back to the first, and that means I want the main activity 2 to be stopped. And in Android Studio, it's called finish. That means you are gonna finish this activity right there. That's called finish. Let's see what it would like when we added the finish right there. So again, we're at the very first activity. Pressing go to 2 will bring us here a second activity. According to our codes, whenever this button 2 is on clicked, it would go back or so-called finish. Finish who? Finish main activity 2. So we went back here to our first activity. So if you didn't do it, you will actually duplicating starting a lot of activity 2 if you keep doing the start activity in the first activity here. So each time you press this button, it start activity 2, main activity 2, if you didn't actually finish your activity, it will remain here. It will actually remain here. So when your structure of your app is a bit more complicated, you got a lot of different activity, maybe from 1 to 2, the 2 to a third or fourth ones. If you did not do the finish, you might wanna, whenever you think this is the end, this is the final page, the final activity users should see, and then when you press like going back, it will actually move back to your like activity 4 or 3 or anything. So it's not actually closing the whole app. So each time you are everything's done in second activity, you should try add finish to really sure that you did close your main activity right there. All right, so that's what we do about finish. All right, so that's really, really simple. From going to the other activity, we use intend. To close one, we use finish. So that's way too easy for today's project. So we're going to add something else here now. So what we're going to add is, what if I want to bring some data or some information, some specific decision, or like the if-else thing, the critical index or something like that. If we want to bring something to the second activity, you can also do it with intent. So now we're going to try to put a plan tags right here. I put it in the middle, and this is what we gonna do is that we can get whatever this user typed and then showed it in our second activity. So obviously we got something here, we need to show it out. Yes, we need another text view right here. We can just drag it anywhere you like, and possibly like that. So this should be named as text view 2 because it's at main activity 2. I'm gonna just type it with nothing and also change the size of it to make sure we all see it. So there is a text view here, another text view. Please don't confuse with your second activity. This one is just the information to tell you we are now at second activity. The other one, TXV2, make sure your IDs are identical as mine. Your text view 2 is gonna show whatever the user type here in your first activity. So let's rename the ID. It's an edit text. Let's just call it an EDT right there. And the text right now show name. I don't want to the name. Let's say enter content to let them know they should enter some content here. All right, so possibly the same idea as previous projects. We're gonna read what the user just typed in there. So we should do it after the onClick. I guess it would make things a bit easier and much simpler. So that's the intent right there. Okay, so now we need another value. It's an EDT that let's link it with view by ID. It's an edit tags. And we're gonna just do the ID thing, EDT, right there. And we're gonna just get the content, the text from this edit text, and then show it on our main activity 2. So we're calling it input. That's the input from the user, right? Input. What is this input? It's the tags from the EDT, from the edit tags. And also remember to change the format of it. That's to string. So we got this edit tags read. We can check on what the user just typed in the string format. So we can go back to our intent. Before we start activity, we should put our inputs in the intent. So it's almost like bringing a package to the second activity. Who's gonna help us to bring it? That's our intent. So intent again here, you can see we link to our intent right there. You are gonna bring us to main activity and also help us to bring the stream. So we use put extra. Put extra. We got the package. It's almost like extra here. So the parameter we are inputting include the first is the name of this extra, almost like the package name. So we're gonna call it data. So this package name is important. It's like when you buy something, you write your name on it. You are the one that receiving this package. That's almost like that. That's the name of that package. So whenever we want to find out where's my package, I want to show what we had from the previous activity, you might check on the names to make sure you are opening the right package. So this name is the package name. We're calling it data right here. All right, and then what are we putting inside this package? So we almost like we have a package or like we have a box, and this box, the name of this box is data, and what's inside is what you're gonna put it. So we are putting this input right here in our box. The box name is data, and then we are gonna unbox this data box to get our input out. So that's what we're gonna do. So by typing these, we are putting our input in the data box. And now these are all in main activity 1. Make sure you didn't type it at the wrong activity. Now we wanna unbox it at main activity 2. So this thing is we should do it on create, within this on create, because whenever we got this information in and bring to our second activity, it should be shown right here. All right, so that's whenever this activity is created, it should be there. So we're gonna do it within these on create, but not the button, okay? But not the button, because it should be shown whenever we start the activity 2. So here we got, right here, the tiny one, we got a text view 2, number 2, text view. So we can call it, we got a value, text view 2, just for you to not get confused. Again, find view by ID, what is it? It's a text view. What is the ID? The art.id.tsv2 right there. And then we are gonna get the package. So before we get the data box, we need to know where can we get the box itself. So first thing is that we need to link it to the intent. So let's call it our received intent. So first we need to make sure we had the right intent right here, and then it's called intent, because that's how we are transforming from main activity to the second activity. We go by intent, so we need to use this intent. That's almost like the deliver guy that bring the box, so you also need to name the deliver guy. All right, so another value is the data I want. So let's call it received. Yes, received data right there. All right, it's just the name. And then how are we gonna get it? We get the right guy that help us deliver the package, and then get the extra, right? Get the extra. We put extra here in main activity 1, so we need to get the extra from the main activity 2. It's just you need to make sure which type of extra you are getting. So when you get the package, you need to make sure it's in the right format, like linked to the right stuff you want. So we have to type get stream extra right here. We did name it as a string, right? We put this input, which is in string format, in the box, in the extra. So our main activity 2, we find the deliver guy, the intent guy, and then we get the data. Which type of data? The string data. So, and then we give the package name, the box name. We have a data box. Inside is our string item that we need. So right there we can set the text. Right here, text. txv2 set text to the received data right there. So this received data is the stream. It's already in string format. We can directly show it in our text view too. All right, let's see if it worked. So right here we are at our first activity. We can like enter whatever we like, maybe numbers we'll also do. And then by pressing this, it will bring the string to the second activity. And also to go back, we'll finish main activity 2. So this is intent, which is straightforward. What I want is go to main activity 2. And also I need you to deliver a package with this input in it, with the box naming data. So that's what we have right here. So I'm gonna pause it and type the memo for you. You can also pause it and type the memo by yourself. Okay, so I added the memo right here. So for main activity 1, the first activity, we do all the things in the click event, which is underneath the on-click listener. This is what happened whenever this button is clicked. So we get the data from our user from this edit tags and then change it into the string format. Use our intent to bring us to main activity with this package from the user, the input right here. And the package name is data. You should remember that the data name should be identical. So this main activity 2, the next activity would know which package to open up, to unbox. So we use put extra, providing a specific name of this extra, and then put the item in it, in this extra, and then we can start the activity. For main activity 2, we do it in onCreate because we want everything to be shown whenever this second activity is created. So we get the text view and the received intent, like who delivered, the delivering guy who delivered this package using intent, and we get this data from the specific intent and get the stream extra with the specific name on the box, the data thing. These should be identical with this package name, this data thing. And then we bring it out. That's the received data. We showed it in this text view too. So for the button, we just want to finish it so we can go back to main activity 1. So this is the basic utility of intent to help us going from the first activity to the second one. So if your project have a lot of activity, the communication between, or like the transfer, the from 1 to 2 or from anywhere to anywhere, we all use intent to achieve that. So this is mainly what we are talking about here. All right, so that's still pretty short for today's topic. So what we're gonna do, what I want to do is also to tell you what intents can also achieve to help us. And so we can try something else. As I mentioned earlier, intent is like telling Android Studio your intention, and it will bring you to the right place you wished for. So here we can also try something else. Because Android Studio is from Google, so we can actually use a lot of different Google services here. So now I want to drag another button, and this time I wanted to start the map, the Google map right there. So here I'll call it button map. So we can call it just map, maybe just map. And I'm gonna change the size a bit right here. So we're gonna use the same idea to use the on-click listener here. So we are now about activity one. So you change all the codings here at activity one. So what we're gonna do is, again, of course, we use on-click listener to deal with all the events. So now we find another button. And then we are finding the map button map, and set on the click listener. So you can actually try to just telling your intention that I want to go to a specific place, and then this intent will help you achieve that. So what we're gonna do is that I want to provide a specific location right here. So there's a value called location. I am gonna tell it where I want to go. So to do an sort of information provided to enjoy, we use a specific format called URI. So this URI, just give me a second. This URI is called Uniform Resource Identifier, URI. So usually you might encounter it with some web or like the address of a specific website. So this is for us to access or manage resources. And then we're gonna do provided a specific location. So what I want right here is we're gonna praise it. So the praise means convert the URI stream to URI format. That's like changing the format of it right here. So your URI will be in red because we haven't imported. So if yours just look like me, press import class and things are done. So this URI stream right here, we praise it, is a specific location. I want to change it to, just give me a second. I want to change it to somewhere I want it to be. Well, that's long, but yeah, anyway. And also here. All right, and there is a dot right following it. Okay, sorry, we don't need that dot. We don't need that dot. That's just a typo. So the following one is we got an intent. Using this intention, same idea. It's just now we are using the action view, and this is the location we are specifically demanded. So here we use action view. Action view is to view specific data. For here is our location. So we just tell them, I want to go to this, I want to view this location. That's our intent. Just I want to view this specific resource. Here is the location. And we didn't even type anything like to start Google Map or anything. We don't need to. That's our intention. Our intention is to view this location. And that's it. We can start activity again and use this map intent. Let's see what would happen with this one. So right here, that's our go-to what we've done here. So here, this is the button map. It's right here. So it should bring us to the Google map. And what I typed, this super long one, is actually our school. actually tried to access it to our school, but it doesn't really be in detailedly showed up here, but I think it's okay. So you can actually pick anywhere you like on Google Map. You just click on the spot, and then also a right click. You can copy the geo information of that specific spot. All right, so this is the map thing that using intention, it could also help us to start Google Map. Okay, so for our final touch, I want to add it in here of intent is that it can also access to the user's camera. So that's what we're going to try to do. We need another button right now. And this one would be called as camera. So we can change the text first. That's camera. And we're also going to change the ID. Let's call it button cam. And also the size of the font. The tag size right here. So here we got a camera button called button cam. So again, in main activity, our very first activity, we're gonna click listener again to our, I should close this one, to our button cam. So again, 5V by ID. Which type of view? It's a button. The ID is r.id.button cam. So what we're gonna do is also set on click listener. Whenever this button cam is clicked, we're gonna do the camera thing. So what we are trying to do is, again, telling the intention only, but not like specifically call it to start camera or anything. So what we're gonna do, we also need another intention here. This is the name of this intention. So this cam intention is an intent. And we're gonna use media store with action. Which kind of action? We want to capture image right here. So this media store right here is the way Android that kind of like deal with all the media stuffs. So it's the interface for working with media. So it contains tools and constants related to maybe like storing media files, capturing media files. So in here, we call this media store first. And then what we want to do is to capture image. And with that, we should be able to call the camera out. So again, start activity. Now it's the camp intent right here with this intention. We should be able to start our camera with that. We didn't mention we need to use our camera, but using the media store, it will help us to link to all the media dealing ways with media. So here is the camera. So we are starting the camera. It's just this is a virtual device. It doesn't have a real camera right there. So that's where we are gonna see what we're gonna see. You can also try on your virtual device and see what you have right here. So no, we don't need that anymore. So this is just telling you that there are multiple ways to use intent, but the general concept of intent is like telling Android Studio what's your intention, what you want to achieve, and you don't need to provide a specific method to achieve that goal. Just let your Android Studio start the activity by the possible ways it could achieve. So in here, we are just using this media store and help us do image capture. And then you can link to the camera of the phone. So what happens whenever when the user actually take photos? It could link to a really huge file dealing process. So if you'd like to know that, I will have another appendix in the Moodle. So I'm not gonna type everything right here because it's really complicated. If you need to deal with the event, deal with the photo it just captured, I'll provide the corresponding possible ways to do it in another file. I will upload it on Moodle. So that's actually all for today. So we try to move from the first activity to the second one, and then also use the intent to do the map thing, to call the map, and also to call the camera. So this is all the codes we need. You can just pause it and finish every code, include the main modes. And that's actually all for today. All right, I'll see you in physical course next week. Bye bye.